Hey everybody, it's Jace here from BlackOvis. I wanted to create kind of a unique video. There's a ton of new range-finding binoculars out there in recent years, and they hit all different price points. It's really a kind of confusing to the average guy when you take a look at this category. And what am I getting for, let's say, $500, and what am I getting for some of these approach, $4,000 or $5,000? So I really wanted to break it down in some of our most common models and what separates the pack. So I'll start over on this end and kind of work my way up to the premium products. So right here is a Bushnell Fusion X. So it's a 10x42 binocular. What you're gonna get with this is just a ton of bang for the buck. They do have a 1 mile capability. Now keep in mind that's on perfect conditions. So on a deer, a bush, things like that, that is a non-reflective surface, you're not gonna see quite that high of performance, but it does have a basic ballistics calculator in that, meaning you select from a multitude of profiles that best matches your rifle and what it's doing in those environmentals, and you upload that, and then it will calculate your holdover and MOA inches, however you see fit, and you go from there. It does have a lifetime warranty. They call it their ironclad warranty, so it's basically a no questions asked. It's amazing that they can pack this many features into a binocular for this price point and still have all the range finding abilities. So check them out. Next up the line here, this is the Vortex Furies. These are the 5000s. So there's two versions of this. This happens to be the applied ballistics version, and there's a non-applied ballistics version. Now everybody's probably wondering, what is applied ballistics? Well, there's a genius out there named Mr. Brian Litz that is a ballistician for a rifle bullet manufacturer, and he literally creates ballistics profiles and crunches numbers on these things. So it's regarded as the most accurate ballistics software out there in the industry, and this happens to come with them. And there are other models from other brands that does use applied ballistics software as well. But as far as a price point, I believe this is the cheapest you can get into applied ballistics and have all of that, all the benefits of his software built into these. So it is a red readout as well, so early mornings, late evenings, it's really nice to be able to still see that reticle. If it's first thing shooting light or last thing shooting light, you'll be able to get that. Vortex is known for their warranty. It's a lifetime unconditional warranty. Anything happens to these, you can rest assured that they're going to cover them. So really cool option as well in this world. One thing that it's hard, you're watching this video, the fit and finish just gets better as price goes up, and those are things that you really can't notice until you're handling these. So but yeah, fit and finish is gets better as we go up the line here. Not saying that you're going to be unhappy here for the price point, but just keep that in mind. So next up I had the Leica GeoVid Pros. Phenomenal product. Leica is kind of the very first ones to originate this with a range-finding binocular, probably 15, 20 years ago. Don't quote me on that, but they've been around a long time. The Pros are some of the newest ones in the lineup. Basically, they have a new ballistic software in these. Back in the day, they only had the R, and it was a pretty basic ballistic software. This accounts for all of the environmentals, your barometric pressure, your elevation above sea level, air density, all that good stuff, and you do have the ability, if you'd like to pair these to, say, a Garmin ballistics watch and have everything come out on your watch, you can do that. Kestrel 5700, so if you're taking your temperature, barometric pressure in real time, they will pair with that and automatically upload that in your ballistics output as well. So this is just like the Vortexes, you're going to get in and actually upload your ballistic coefficient, all these good things that gives you a 100% accurate number in the end that you don't get on some of the the least expensive models out there where you're just selecting from a basic profile. One of the biggest questions we get is, well, do I have to have my phone for this to work? No, you do not. Once you Bluetooth up and you use the app and you actually import all of the ballistics data, these are a standalone device. So if my phone's back in camp or it's dead, it's charging, whatever the case may be, these still will have your rifle imported into them and able to function on their very own. So that's a very important piece. These two models here, so I've got a Swarovski and a Leica. This is where your glass starts to become that top tier, your German type glass. For guys that are going to really spend a lot of time behind this and sit on a tripod all day in glass, you're really looking at that top tier. anytime you're dealing with the rangefinder, you have an LCD screen involved in the, you know, the lens process, and that naturally actually takes away from the clarity. So, you know, one could say, you know, this lens is good in a normal binocular, but you see more imperfections or more of that screen door effect when you start, you know, adding that LCD screen into effect. So just things to keep in mind. But, you know, Leica, one big thing about Leica, they do have a horizontal laser instead of a vertical laser. That does a couple things. So if you think about it, you know, we're ranging a deer on a slope of a hillside. We want to make sure that we're getting an accurate read and not hitting above that deer or below that deer. Depending on how steep that hill is, or you know, less steep it is, you may get a big gap in your yardages there. And that becomes a huge issue, especially when we're talking about bow hunting. We all know how critical that is, but even if you're taking an extended range shot and you're off by 15 or 20 yards with some of these calibers, you could literally be, you know, several inches or feet, and that starts to matter. So one cool thing that Leica does that's a little bit different than everybody else in the market. So next up is the Swarovski. These are the EL ranges with tracking assistant. Super cool product. Swarovski probably needs to go without announcement. They're just a phenomenal brand. Always been a good partner of us, and they have probably the best in class glass clarity in my opinion. Yeah, they've had the EL range out for a while, and they went through an update a few years ago and added what they call the tracking assistant. So in their app, you can range something, and from the point you're standing to what you actually range, it will drop that on a map. And you know, if it's really cool for like shed hunters. You know, if you're ranging a shed and you need to be able to hike over there and find that shed that you just ranged, you can walk right over there. Maybe you're hunting solo and you range a deer, you know, he's under this tree, and you get over on that hillside, everything looks the same. We've all done that before. You have a very good idea if you're in the right area, if you're a couple trees too high or whatnot. So really cool overlooked feature there. Their app is extremely easy to use, and same thing, you know, as the Leica here. It's going to take into effect all of your, you know, your ballistic coefficient and then all your environmentals that go along with that to give you a very accurate read. You know, I've taken rifles I've never shot before. Somebody's handed it to me and hooked up to these and range a piece of still at 1,000 yards and be able to hit that piece of still on the first shot. So, and that's saying something. I'm not a huge rifle guy. So really, really simple product, easy to use. And just like any of the others, once you import everything from your phone into these, it is a standalone unit. You do have the ability to store 3 rifles in the app, and if you want to switch those out, you do have to have the phone present. But more than likely, you're going to have 1 rifle with you, 1 rifle imported, and you're good to go from there. So I hope this helps. There's a ton of options out there. I know I didn't cover all the questions, but please feel free to call into our customer service line, or jump on, send us an email. Every single one of these pieces has a good application, and not all of us have super deep pockets to afford the top tier stuff, but that doesn't mean that there's not a good range of finding binocular out there and a price point that's comfortable. So please reach out to us. Good luck on your hunts this fall, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.